Well, I'm not sure if you have noticed now that we are doing this podcast with a HD video, I have a tan line. Have you seen this? This is one of the kind of drawbacks of having long hair. Over the summer, I was wearing my hair down, and so now I have this patch of white skin here. This is good motivation for anyone listening to sign up to our Patreon so you can see the full video of me pointing out where my sexy forehead tan line is. Can you see that? The color difference?
Here's what people at home need to know. So this technology we're recording on, you get the perfect HD video, but sometimes because of the nature of us being over the internet, we see each other a little fuzzy. So until you pointed it out, I just assumed it was some weird quirk of the technology, that I was just getting some sort of glare off your forehead or something from like the lights. And I was like, that is a weird like effect. It kind of feels like, to be honest, that you've got like a kind of horseshoe shape on your forehead, like that's just sitting there. But I just assumed it was the bad lighting. I didn't realize that this was actually, that came with your skin.
It's
any
tan
lighting
line.
circumstances that it would be there.
I only noticed this on Friday. I went for a run and I had some time off. I only was in daycare, so I was like, I'm going to go to a cafe. I'm going to bloody spoil myself and actually like eat lunch in a cafe. And I noticed that everyone was kind of.
Now, have you run to the cafe? Tell me.
So,
no, well, let's run.
I've done
walk
my
me through
run.
this. So, did you run to the cafe?
No. So I did the lighthouse run in Byron, and so I went up and down there, cooled down in the park, stretched. Allowed myself to kind of my heart rate to get to a more resting level. And then went for a bit of a wander through town and thought I will indulge myself with a lunch in a cafe, like a bloody independent adult who doesn't have a kid. And I noticed that people were looking at me strange, but I just thought, well, it's fine. I'm in Byron. Maybe it's because I'm not alternative enough, or maybe because I'm not Botoxed enough, depending on what side of Byron you fall on. Are you part of the original alternative crew, or are you part of the Byron Bay kind of movement? I fall on neither side. But when I went to the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and I realized that even though I'd cooled down, stretched and stuff after my run, that I was quite red-faced, but the red had not distributed itself evenly. And that's when I noticed this tan line as well. So I had large blotches of red, but kind of ran like a Rorschach test of inflammation around my face, with a large pale white dot here where my tan line is. But the thing is, everyone was polite because, they were staring, but no one was saying anything because it looked like a pre-existing skin condition. Like, what's that one that Michael Jackson had? The vertigo or something like that. It looked like I had. Yeah,
vertigo, of course. That thing that everybody knows about, vertigo.
Vertigo, go. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm meant to do about this tan line, if I meant to even it out or anything like that. But I haven't had long hair for a while.
No, I own it. I think that should be your signature look. You've been talking about that idea of what's my look? How do I fit in this community? I think top deck head. People can just like go, who's that guy over there whose head looks like a Cadbury top deck
head?
Actually, with the blotches. More so, top deck head. Who's that deck head? Did you call me a dickhead? No, mate, deck head, like top deck.
Yeah, they can shorten it to deck head. I like being top deck head. I'm not against the idea of having a signature kind of look. Like there's certain in high, how like in high fashion, like generally the fashion industry is pretty terrible for body image for, men and women and forcing them into very narrow kind of fields. But then occasionally there'll be one like tokenistic, runway model who's got some strange kind of like pre-existing condition or abnormality. It might be minor, like a big gap between the teeth, or it might be like a skin condition or something like that. Maybe, is it too much of a stretch to think that maybe my fashion career starts now? That everyone's like, we've got this new label we want to launch. We want someone different. We want some cut through. We want to say we're independent. Find me a top deck head. Is there a top deck head out there that we can get? And then one guy was like, well, I was at a cafe the other day. And this blotchy top.
Yeah, well, because you are the least qualified person, right? Like at the moment, because you're like a white straight man, like a middle-aged white straight man. Diamond doesn't. Plenty of them around. They've had it too good for too long.
Saturated
like
market.
You just going in, right? As that's not a good hook for you at the moment. But top deck head, I feel like that's a look. That feels like a fashion forward look. Like, you know, if you could actually get that to catch on, like if it, on TikTok or whatever, it became a trend of like, oh my God, did you see that guy with the top deck head? Maybe you need a sponsorship from Cadbury's Top Deck, right? You need to get Top Deck on board. You maybe get some viral money behind it, and you try to make people, maybe you've got to incorporate it with a community. So what's a community? Because that's what you need, right? You need cool culture, like normally leads these sort of things. So I'm thinking decks. I'm thinking skateboarding, right? So like, you know, you call, deck heads. Right? Yeah. So deck heads, you could be like, because you call a skateboard a deck, right? Do you? Yeah, but, I mean, I'm an old man. I'm speculating. Do they still call it a deck?
I think they do, but isn't there also like, aren't there, I'm thinking when we go even more niche, I'm pretty sure there's like music enthusiasts who are deck heads, like guys who collect tape decks. So could I be like, you know, because that's what fashion's all about. They want subculture. Like I think skating's a bit mainstream
Too big.
Anyway. Too big.
Yeah.
But if I was representing like, you know, they could market me like a boy band. You know, they could say, "Oh, this dude is like, you know, I'm backed by like big fashion," but they're saying, "Oh, this guy comes from niche culture. He only listens to music on tape. He doesn't.
He's a deckhead, and his head also looks like a top deck."
Do you think that would work, or is it like one of those kind of ethical dilemmas, like? You know, so I've had this thing occur by accident, and it suddenly grants me access to this new world. But this is just a tan line, Will. My skin will eventually even itself out, and then I have to like. I've been pretending this is some kind of like from birth. I had this condition.
Oh no! You can't do that. You can't. No. That's disrespectful. No, you can't be like culturally appropriating people's skin diseases. Like it's disrespectful to people who like suffer from skin diseases. No, this is a purely voluntary thing that you're doing here. This is a fashion thing. It's like wearing like a, you know, at the moment there's bikinis that have like under boob or whatever, or wearing a Band-Aid on your head, or like wearing your headband when you go for a run. This is like a fashion thing, right? But I think that we've missed the most obvious one, which is we're thinking fashion. We're thinking breaking into the world of fashion. That's pretty hard. But what we could break into is that world of sort of angry white men on the internet conspiracy land. Because you know how in America, like fuck you Biden is now let's go Brandon, and they've all got t-shirts that say let's go Brandon, and it's their secret code to say fuck you Biden. Like the MAGA hats will get you kicked out of a party, right? Like if people say, but if you want to send a signal to someone else at the party that you normally love wearing your MAGA hat and you're one of them, you've got to be a deckhead. That's how you see other people at the party. They're sort of like, you know, red to the sort of halfway through their face and then white for the rest.
That makes sense too, because it's kind of like you're incorporating like a bit of that red neck imagery, but it's red face, white forehead, and there is a bit of something about having.
Well, I would say let's do it like that. You've got to have your neck sunburn on the neck, so it's extra red. So this is what we've got to lean into. So you get out in the sun, like you've got to encourage, and this is great for us as well, because it feels like we're on the side of these guys. But the other thing is we're encouraging a lot of them to get really bad skin cancer. So we're doing our bit for world peace as well. So we encourage people that if you really love, you know, the alt-right, what you need to start doing is getting this deckhead look where you completely sunburn your face right up to your forehead, and then it's like pure white up there. That's the kind of secret signal that like pure white, redneck, pure white.
To see the full video, join our Patreon.
Patreon.com/Tofop.